Okay, hello everyone, and thanks for joining us today for this event. My name is Alice, and I will be your host for today's online presentation. Please note that we cannot hear you as you are on mute. This is why if you have any questions during the presentation, please use the chat window. This presentation will last approximately 30 minutes, and once it is completed, we will address any questions during our open Q&A session. I would like to, first of all, introduce today's speakers. So a special thank you goes to David Rosenthal, CEO of Atidan, who gave the opportunity to our partnership to focus on each other's strengths and knowledge to present this webinar. So David will open the talk with a short introduction of Atidan, and then Adam Shatterton, our GSX Solutions Partner Account Manager, will be introducing GSX Solutions and giving a demo of our solution for you to see the features GSX Monitor and Analyzer Office for Office 365. Okay, so let's open the talk with David. David, maybe you want to start?
Thank you very much. Good morning and good afternoon to everyone that's joined us. I'm David Rosenthal, and again, thank you to GSX for their partnership. So today, the agenda is going to be a quick introduction about GSX and Atidan, and we're going to get right into describing the GSX Monitor and Analyzer specifically for Exchange Online, part of the Office 365 family. Adam will be giving a live demonstration of the tool, and we will have plenty of time for questions and discussion. So again, it's going to be about 30 minutes long, and we'll make sure this is an interactive session and have time at the end. So a quick introduction about Atidan. We're a Microsoft Gold partner, and we focus on business productivity applications, primarily in the Microsoft space. We're based here in Philadelphia, New York City area, and we're pleased to offer a full line of support, services, and implementation for the GSX family of products.
Okay, thank you, David. So now maybe, Adam, you can start the presentation about GSX Solutions.
Sure, no problem. Thanks, Alice, and thanks, David. So yes, we will try to keep things really interactive today, and as David said, you'll get a chance to see a quick peek at our monitoring solution for Exchange Online. Just a quick background on GSX and what we do. So we've been in business for over 17 years now in the monitoring and reporting space. Our headquarters are over in Geneva, Switzerland. We also have two offices in the USA, one in Buffalo, New York, one in Boston, Massachusetts, where I'm located. We also have offices around the world in the UK. Our R&D is in Nice, France. We also have an office that recently opened up in Shanghai, China, to service the APAC market as well. A bit about some of the recent awards we received. So we were up for Best of Tech Head in 2012 for our SharePoint product and Best of Tech Head in 2013 for our Exchange product. We've also won the Gold Award for msexchange.org, and as you can see, we have strategic partnerships with both Microsoft, BlackBerry, and IBM, actually, too. So, yeah, I have the obligatory logo slide here to talk a bit about who our customers are. So we provide monitoring to all sizes of companies. You can see here that the size of the company could range anything from a multinational bank like HSBC or working with a company like Boeing or Johnson Controls. However, really the size of the company is not necessarily what matters when it comes to a GSX customer. It's really more about how critical the messaging or the collaboration environment is for GSX to be the right fit. So obviously the focus of the webinar today is going to be on how GSX monitors and reports on Exchange Online environments, but that's not the only platform that we can help you manage. So we also monitor Microsoft Exchange on-premise and hybrid. We're one of the few tools that can do that. All versions of Exchange you have the ability to monitor with our tool. As I mentioned before, Microsoft SharePoint. We recently also released our Microsoft Lync product, which we're very excited about. Focusing much more on the application level and the performance of Lync. Beyond that, I don't have my slide here, but we do monitor IBM Notes, Traveler, Same Time Quicker, and BlackBerry Enterprise Server as well. So as I was saying, we have a lot of customers around the world, and we speak with a lot of Exchange administrators and IT managers that give us a lot of feedback on, what they see on a day-to-day basis and what some of their challenges are, specifically with Exchange, and now even more so as you're seeing many people move to Office 365. We're hearing a lot of different things around Exchange Online. So one of our key differentiators and something that's really allowed for us to have a lot of success in that market is that we take the feedback that we get from our customers and our partners, and we really try to integrate that into the product. So some of the specific things and issues that we see and we've heard about as we developed our Exchange Online product, we really have integrated to what we have today in the tool. So a couple of those things would be, first off, messaging admins that often move to Office 365. They're used to having a certain level of control over that environment. So if you're talking about them having Exchange 2010 or 2013, and then they migrate to Office 365 Exchange Online, they had a certain level of control, of course, on the availability, the performance, of course, the quality of service that's delivered to their end users, and more. Beyond that, something that's really critical is having the control and the visibility on the VIP mailboxes, or the most critical mailboxes within that environment. When people typically move to Exchange Online, they understand that they're giving up control, but it can often be a difficult thing to deal with. So, of course, with GSX, as we'll show you a little later on, we can help out with some of the control and visibility that an admin desires after the migration. Another thing that we've heard that's very difficult for IT departments to deal with is you're giving up this control and you're migrating to the cloud, but of course your end users are still looking to the IT department to fix problems, provide answers to issues that may be going on, and of course they expect them to troubleshoot and figure out where the issue may have derived from in a scenario. This can be especially stressful for any IT department. Of course, when you migrate to the cloud, your users typically, maybe they do, maybe they don't know that you've moved the mailboxes there, but they still end up calling the IT department. They're not going to pick up the phone and call Microsoft. They're not going to be following the Office 365 incidents on Twitter to see what's going on. They, of course, are first call right to that support desk to see what the issue is, and they expect an answer and a resolution as quickly as possible, especially if it's disrupting the business that's going on and changing their day-to-day habits. Of course, beyond that, I spoke about VIP mailboxes. It's even more stressful, and I've heard of scenarios that can be very tough for an IT admin is when a CEO or a top-level executive is then complaining or looking for help in this situation. I know in the past we've seen not too many of these, but from time to time you see availability issues or outages with Office 365. Those are usually rare, but what we really focus on is that end-user performance. So knowing and being able to understand what that end-user performance looks like at all times is exactly what GSX can help out in these situations. And, of course, it can give you a step ahead of any of the user complaints that you may encounter on a day-to-day basis once you migrate to the cloud. Another thing that we're definitely hearing is, especially in companies that have multiple offices or multiple headquarters around the world, and the IT department is managing these multiple locations, it's very difficult to ensure and also to have the visibility on the end-user performance from, let's take an example. If you have an office like GSX, we have offices in Boston, Buffalo, and as I already said, around the world. So each office may have a different user experience than the other, and I know from firsthand experience that we often experience a different level of service in Boston than we may have in Geneva, Switzerland. Without a tool to give you that type of visibility and to really know what the end-user experience looks like from each location, it can obviously be a nightmare to manage, and of course it's going to put a lot of stress on the help or support desk that you might have dealing with calls from multiple locations and not being able to have the visibility or answers to the issues that might be happening. And then finally, with Office 365, you do have the ability to view the health dashboard, but this is very limited, and it's difficult to creating reports out of this. So if you can't create reports on quality of service or specific things around the mailboxes and their availability, it often is a lot of time spent on manual reporting or relying just on the live stats in the health dashboard. So this can be quite time-consuming and difficult for an admin or IT department to deal with. So next, let's speak a little bit about GSX and what our tool actually does. So GSX really, it is a virtual administrator or robot user that sits at any location that automatically can discover the Exchange environment that it has to manage. It's going to act just like a user would and test every single critical part of the environment to proactively detect and alert you of potential issues around performance or decreases in availability, things like that. It's also going to help in troubleshooting situations where you can pinpoint where the issue is coming from to identify if you have an Exchange Online issue, or maybe it's a network issue coming from a specific location. The pipe might be too small with the ISP, and of course, having the ability to differentiate between that can be really critical in your mean time to repair. The other thing is that the robot is also going to provide you with critical statistics and graphs in real time so that you can keep up to date on the health of the environment. And of course, beyond that, it's going to proactively alert you of any potential issues that are in the environment so that you can take that appropriate action as soon as possible. Finally, the GSX Robot Agent, it's totally agentless. GSX Robot is totally agentless, and it's a virtual O365 admin that's going to constantly test, monitor, report on that environment 24/7, so it can give you a bit of peace of mind that even in the off hours, GSX is constantly checking and monitoring that system, and then, of course, proactively alerting you of any issues that you may have encountered. And then last slide here before we hop into the demo. As I already mentioned, with the tool being completely agentless, it's very easy to deploy and put a GSX robot at any location. So the installation is fairly simple. It can be installed on a VM, a workstation, even a tablet. I know here in our Boston office we have it running on a tablet and actually collecting and monitoring the user experience right out of our office here. You can also have the ability to track and monitor Office 365 user experience from all these locations, as I already mentioned. So what we hear a lot of times, and I hear this firsthand from our partners as well, this is one of the most defining features of our tool, to have this ability to deploy GSX anywhere in the world and to be able to deploy this in a timely fashion. So it's not a giant tool that's going to take you 20 hours to get up and running. It really can be up and running within an hour, and then from there, you're tweaking things like alerts and reports from the tool. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pop out of the PowerPoint here and pull up GSX Monitor. So hopefully everybody can see that fine. A quick demo, of course, I'll try to cover everything I can, but we have limited time here today. So if anybody sees the demo here and wants to dive deeper into it, of course, we can schedule that after. What we're looking at here is the main view, or the high-level overview of GSX Monitor. So there's two pieces to our tool. There's GSX Monitor, which is focused on monitoring, hence the name. That is going to be all the real-time statistics. All of the alerting comes from GSX Monitor. The second piece of the tool is GSX Analyzer, which I'll show you just after. That tool is solely focused on statistics collection. It's going to look at and give you the ability to create automated reports or ad hoc reports. We'll dive into that right after the demo here of GSX Monitor. So you can see I have multiple organizations set up here. So I have a hybrid cloud that you can see the status of my servers on-prem and also in the cloud. But for the purpose of today, we'll just speak about Office 365 Exchange Online. So the main thing, like I mentioned before, GSX is a robot user. So really what it's doing is it's out in the environment that you deployed in, and it's acting just like a user would all day long, every day, to give you a proactive approach at seeing any issues that may come up with performance, but also to give you an idea or a baseline of what that performance looks like on a day-to-day basis. So you can see in this view I have the status of some scenarios that I set up here. So just like a user, I'm going out, I can create an email, I can create a task, download an attachment, all these basic user tasks that you would see on a day-to-day basis. A really cool thing that you can do with GSX is the ability here to set up custom scenarios. So my custom check here that I have set up is what I would call Joe User. He sits down at 9 a.m. every morning. He launches his Outlook. He opens his mailbox. He searches for, an email within his inbox there to reply. He's going to resolve user downloaded attachment, create that email, create a folder, and so on. So you can actually string these scenarios together and have a full-on acting user in multiple cases throughout the day with GSX Monitor. So it's not just the individual scenarios you can run. You can actually run these in a string of actual scenarios to act just like a real user would do. So just to open that up real quick and take a look, you can see this is the configuration where I actually set up all the different scenarios that I want to run. We not only just run these scenarios and, of course, tell you if they can't be performed, but you can set a specific threshold alert or baseline alert that says, okay, if it ever takes me longer than, 10 seconds to open a mailbox, send me an alert because my users are probably going to be a bit annoyed at the fact that it's taking me this long to open that mailbox. Or, again, if it's a custom scenario, maybe it's a bit longer. You want to string together 5 of these scenarios and actually be alerted if it takes longer than 20 seconds or whatever it may be to actually see that scenario run. You have that flexibility in here, and again, the whole point being that you're proactively alerted any user experience issues that do come about throughout the day. The other type of scenario that I didn't speak about but is extremely important would be the mail routing scenario. So this, again, can be customized to several different ways. So not only can we send a mail routing probe, very basic, from Office 365 Mailbox A to Office 365 Mailbox B, we could also string these together to be running to, let's say, if you're in a hybrid deployment, an on-prem mailbox to the Office 365 mailbox, and then the returning probe back to that. You could send it to a Echo site free out there on the internet to know what an outbound email message looks like. You could set up a Gmail account, route your mail from Office 365 to Gmail, and check what the routing times look like. Again, the idea here is that we'll test mail routing, but we'll also proactively alert you if there are issues within mail routing. So often, I'm sure many of the IT admins that are in the webinar here today, they've heard complaints from their users around how long it's taking them for them to route mail. It's one of the most common complaints that you'll hear out there when people migrate to Office 365. So, of course, GSX is put a focus on that, and we're able to monitor that and proactively alert you again on any of these issues. The one thing I did not mention is you do have the ability with GSX to target and monitor VIP mailboxes as well. So you could set this up to monitor, your CEO's mailbox and run light scenarios throughout the day to track that user experience. You could also test mail routing with that CEO's mailbox. Of course, you're not going to want to set up 100 mail routing probes at a time to be going out there and testing email because it is like a user. So with more usage, it could slow down that mailbox. But of course, if you're running these lighter probes and you're targeting specific mailboxes, you're going to have that proactive approach to know for any of those VIP mailboxes if they are experiencing any issues. And of course, at that point in time, you're going to be able to take action, or you're going to be able to be a step ahead of them calling you and complaining at that point in time. So yes, that's a quick overview of what we see here. Of course, like I mentioned, we do monitor hybrid environments as well, which we can do a lot more on the Exchange on-premise server. I did not speak about this off to the right-hand side. It's an important feature. We can also monitor URLs. So the reason that's important is it gives you that perception, and it gives you the ability to understand if you're having internet issues. Maybe it's a connection issue. Again, maybe the pipe is small with the ISP. If you're monitoring someone down in Brazil, their internet connection might not be the same as someone that's sitting in New York City. So we have the ability to monitor these URLs so that you can understand and be alerted as well on the page load times of a URL, and again, understand if you have that issue coming from Exchange Online or if it happens to be coming from an ISP or the internet connection at that location. So yes, very quick. That's an overview of what we're doing in Office 365 for monitoring. The other piece is what we're doing on the reporting side. So GSX Analyzer, as I mentioned before, is a reporting dashboard that's allowing you to create very quick, easy, automated reports within here. It's also all the live statistics that we're collecting within GSX Monitor are going to be pushed to GSX Analyzer. You can see that this tool is web-based. It's also profile-driven, so you could set this up so that you have multiple IT departments at each different location has logins to be able to see the information only relevant to their location, if that makes sense, or if you have a SharePoint team, an Exchange team, and you want to have separate logins that they only see the statistics relevant to their platform, you have that flexibility within here. The statistics page for Office 365 is obviously focused on the different scenarios that you're running. So if I click on a scenario here, it's going to pull up the average execution time, the availability of that scenario. You'll have some basic information that could be sent to PDF or CSV out of this view. It can be broken down into a daily, weekly, or monthly statistic, as you can see here on the left-hand side. Probably the most interesting feature within GSX Analyzer, and I know a lot of our customers really appreciate this specific feature, is the trend reports. So what you're doing here is this is allowing you to create and compare multiple statistics right on demand. So as you can see, I have a couple of Exchange scenarios that I'm comparing over time here. If I want to take a single one, it's a drag and drop, and I have that report created for me right away. The cool thing about this is I can have this set up and automated. So if I know I need to, let's say I need to show the performance of my New York office versus my London office, I could take the two offices, and I'm grabbing a couple of random stats here, but I would just drag and drop. I could have my multiple offices, actual user experience graphed over time for me. This is a forecasting feature that can be turned on or off within the tool as well. The neat thing here, too, is, as I was just starting to say, you can use this tool to create automated reports. So if you know you need that report every first Monday of the month to show the user experience across multiple locations, you can come into GSX Analyzer. You can automate that report. It could be, let's say you want it every first Monday of the month, that you need that report created in PDF with even your company's logo right on top and sent on to the whole IT department responsible for Exchange Online. That's possible with GSX Monitor and Analyzer. So again, it's a great time saver, and certainly any departments that need to report on the user experience or report on the availability and performance of that environment, you have that ability within GSX Analyzer. Lastly is the environmental health reports. So specifically for Exchange Online, you can see that I have multiple stations set up here. So this would be, multiple actual either mailboxes that I'm monitoring specifically or locations. So you can consider each of these a different robot user. And I can see the actual performance across the board. So the whole point here is to quickly and easily identify any bottlenecks that you may have within your environment. So you can see that, station A here is not performing as well as station D. That type of information is easy to identify with these types of reports. The second piece is if you have measured SLAs that you'd like to track. So if you want to see if, from your perspective, if Microsoft is delivering on the availability of Exchange Online for your company, you can see that SLA. If you drop it in the report, you can compare and actually see from a third-party tool if Microsoft is meeting that SLA or not right within GSX Analyzer. And again, this can be sent to CSV or PDF right out of this view. So that, in a nutshell, is GSX Monitor and Analyzer. I'll just hop back in real quick here to my PowerPoint to wrap up on what you saw today. So some of the benefits, obviously, of our tool, of course, GSX is providing you with a deep dive into the quality of service and what that end user experience is looking like that's actually delivered to your end users on a day-to-day basis out of Office 365. But actually using and monitoring that application from the end user experience is the only way that you're going to be able to track and know exactly what your users are feeling on a day-to-day basis and what they're seeing within Office 365. So that's why we have the GSX Robot user that can sit at any location. We can proactively identify the different network and internet issues that may impact the service delivered to your customers, again, at multiple locations with that flexibility of GSX. Our tool is definitely key in situations that require troubleshooting. So we'll save you time by pinpointing any sources of the issue, the proactive alerting, And beyond that, the ability to compare your quality of service in multiple locations is definitely going to lower that mean time to repair, especially in those stressful situations where you have people calling you, or if it's a CEO or executive complaining about the quality of service. And definitely, as I mentioned before, GSX is going to help you cut down on those support calls. So if you have a help desk that's constantly receiving these calls and complaints, you could even spin up, GSX on a knock or in a help desk to quickly and easily be able to show the status of the different things that you're monitoring in your environment. And then the one I skipped here is around migration. So a lot of our partners, including Atidan, they're utilizing GSX before, during, and after migrations to really ensure that there's no business interruptions in the service provided to the business line at any location. So being able to actually track that user experience before you even move a critical mailbox is definitely a defining feature of our tool as well. And finally, before we jump into the Q&A here, did want to mention that with our partner Atidan, we do have a 30-day trial available. So it's full functionality of our tool, unlimited mailboxes you can monitor for Office 365 Exchange Online. I definitely urge all of you to actually test the tool, try it out. I'm sure you'll be happy with the functionality and what it actually gives you in a monitoring tool. And of course, as I mentioned before, the demo is very brief today, but if anybody would like a deeper dive into what exactly we're doing for Exchange Online monitoring, you certainly can contact sales@gsx.com, or you could contact Atidan directly and schedule a demo through them. So let's go ahead and hop into the questions that we received here regarding GSX. I didn't monitor the chat, but Alice, I believe you maybe were watching that, or David, and could ask me if any questions could come in here.
Yep, exactly. Thank you, Adam. So here we have some questions. So to start with, there's a question regarding, is it possible to monitor different servers at different locations? So I think you did discuss it in the presentation, but if you could sum up quickly.
Yeah, so just to clarify on that question, so we're not, for Exchange Online, we're not actually monitoring servers. So, Exchange Online being a multi-tenant cloud, we're actually monitoring mailboxes. So yes, as I said in the presentation, maybe it came in earlier on before I actually was able to answer this. We are able to monitor multiple locations, and you would be targeting specific mailboxes or even a test mailbox that you maybe want to set up to really monitor that end user experience. But it's just as easy as deploying that GSX Robot user at each critical location or any critical location that you want to monitor from.
Okay, thank you. Then there's another question regarding SharePoint scenarios. So is the testing superficial, or does it perform actual user transactions?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if the question was for SharePoint or for Exchange Online, but I could answer it for both, actually. So yeah, I mean, you can think of that robot user that's out there testing the environment just like an end user. So we're constantly monitoring that end user experience, and of course we're performing those scenarios just like a user would. So that robot user is actually a user performing those different scenarios, like opening a mailbox or downloading an attachment, or if we're talking about SharePoint, it could be things like uploading a document to a SharePoint site or creating a new blog post, things like that.
Exactly, yeah. So thank you for this. Then how does your alerting system plug in with SCUM?
So yeah, that's a really good question. I didn't mention that at all during my demo, and I probably should have, but I didn't really go into what we do for alerting. So I'll actually kind of jump on something else as well. So first off, we do have a management pack for SCUM. It allows you to centralize all of your alerting into one dashboard. So basically what GSX Monitor is doing is sending an SNMP trap directly to the management pack of SCUM, and it's consolidating all these statistics and alerts into their dashboard so that you have one central location to feed into these alerts. And yes, thank you for whoever asked that question. I didn't speak about alerting at all, but it's also a very important feature of GSX Monitor. A lot of times what I'm hearing from customers that we have, and actually a lot of our partners that are managed service providers as well. The tool itself has a lot of flexibility around alerting. So we're definitely a tool out there that our goal is never to inundate you with alerts all throughout the day. We allow you to be very flexible and very customized in the way that you will receive alerts. So you could receive text message alerts, it could be email, it could be a sound or pop-up message. So there's a lot of different ways to receive those alerts. But again, our end goal is to never inundate you or send you hundreds of alerts throughout the day to the point where you put a mail filter on GSX and then you're ignoring the tool. If that happens, we definitely view that as a fail, and you're not going to be getting the full utilization of a monitoring tool if you're ignoring the alerts that come out. So thank you for that question.
Great. Then there was a question. You spoke about Link, so I think the question was to know what happens with Link, what GSX Monitor and Analyzer does for Link.
Sure, yeah. So without really jumping in a demo here, I can tell you high level, and certainly we could schedule a demo around that. So currently the tool was released recently, and we're monitoring Link 2013. So it's not for Link Online currently. We were planning on adding that piece in the near future as well. But just what you saw today around scenarios, Link is very similar as well. So we're acting like a user, and the GSX robot is actually going out and testing what that user experience looks like within the Link environment as well. So very much similar. It's focused on the end user performance and proactively alerting you of any issues that may come up throughout the day. Anything else?
Okay, and then comes the last question. So the person says, my company is currently looking to migrate to Office 365, but we have not decided if we will be a hybrid or full cloud deployment. Does GSX have the capability to monitor a hybrid deployment as well? Does that require additional installations or configuration times?
Okay, yeah, so two questions there. Yes, we can monitor hybrid environments, no problem. We're definitely one of the only few of the tools out there that can actually do that. So yes to the first question, and then for the second question around, I think it was additional installations or configuration time is what you said, Alice. Certainly, if you have a hybrid environment, yes, there is a little bit more configuration just to be able to monitor the on-prem piece versus the hosted piece. But typically, honestly, once you have it set up, it's usually about another 15 minutes to 30 minutes of configuration. And then again, beyond that, it's really just the, focusing on the alerting or the reporting that you want to receive out of the tool. But also, it's one installation, so you could just have one GSX dashboard monitoring both environments.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Adam. I'd like to thank David as well. And as we're just about to go over time with this webinar, if we did not get the chance to answer all your questions, please be assured that we'll get back to you in the near future. I'd like to thank everyone for attending this webinar today, and I'd like to wish you all a nice, excellent day.
Thanks, everyone.
Goodbye. Take care.